I set myself a goal to be abstinent and not date for an entire year just to see what it would do for my mental health, and I wanted to share what I learned with you. So here's a bit of background information about me. I have always been a serial dater since I was like 10. I've always struggled to be alone, and I have used dating and intimacy and connecting with other people as a way to cope with feelings that I didn't want to feel. I love daydreaming about scenarios and putting my energy into people to make them feel good, and also having that energy and attention back on me. I'm just a bit of a lover girl, okay? Let's just admit that. In February of 2023, I experienced 3 really difficult situations within the space of a week by 3 different people. One by a complete stranger when I was at work, one by someone that I was on a date with, and one by someone that I thought I trusted. And that was the most violent of the events. Then one day I just woke up and my body decided to stop working. I was super weak. I really struggled to hold my phone even. My vision was blurry. I couldn't really talk, and I just couldn't function. I thought it was burnout, but it turns out that it was a trauma response to what had happened. So initially my no dating phase was born out of being terrified of cis men and not feeling safe around anyone, so I didn't want to subject myself to any kind of conversation or situation where I would be in a one-on-one position with another man or cis man. Then after a few months I started feeling a little bit better, a bit safer about going outside, but I thought I would see how long I could go without dating. Then I started seeing videos of other people who had done a year of no dating. One of them was Maddie Drawsback, and I just thought it would be a nice challenge for myself to see if I could go from one birthday to the other without dating or sleeping with anyone. So I wrote down some of the things that I wanted to get out of the year of no dating and what I wanted to learn. I wanted to figure out what kind of connections and relationships I actually wanted. I wanted to know who I wanted to be as someone on my own and someone in a relationship. I wanted to figure out what kind of things I enjoyed doing on my own and what hobbies I liked. I wanted to learn how to validate myself without seeking it from anyone else. The biggest thing was that I wanted to learn how to say no to people and set firm boundaries. So my rules were no dating apps, no dates, no casual sex. I felt way more confident in myself and more in control of my body. I felt really powerful in that year, probably more powerful than I've ever felt. Just knowing that I am my own and nobody can take that away from me and nobody can change that either. I feel like I really underrated my platonic relationships, and putting my energy into those really helped me feel closer to people. My confidence to do things alone really grew, like going out to restaurants or reading on the beach or sunbathing on my own, or like going swimming shirtless alone, just doing those things that I would probably do with a friend or a partner in the past grew. One thing that really helped me to do that was making a list of A to Z solo dates to do, and I completed it during the whole year. If you saw my birthday vlog, you might have seen that Zed was going on a zip line with one of my friends, and that was the only one I did with a friend, and it was on my birthday, and it was just a really nice ending to the challenge itself. If this is a totally new concept to you, basically a lot of people and couples on TikTok were doing it, and I just decided to make a list for myself of dates that began with each letter of the alphabet to do by myself. The dates kind of began quite low-key and things that I didn't feel too intimidated by, but then I was doing things like going to restaurants on my own, going to the cinema. I can't remember what else I did. I went to a gig, I went to an orchestra, I had a massage, got a tattoo, lots of cute things like that. I have made a downloadable list of these dates. If you want one, it's on my website, it's free to download. You can just grab it if you want. And every letter has 3 different date ideas, and then there's a blank template for you to add your own in if you want to do it as well. There were definitely some things that I struggled with. In the beginning it was a lot easier because I was so frustrated with people that I didn't even want to entertain the idea of anything. But then as my mental health got a bit better and I started healing a bit, I started craving some of these things from other people. Probably around 6 months in, I started to kind of forget why I was doing what I was doing. I knew that I wanted to like learn how to say no and be okay with spending time alone, but I forgot about like wanting to find validation through myself and not have to rely on anyone to do that. I started finding loopholes to get this kind of validation from other people. Rather than sitting with the discomfort and challenging it and coming up with things I could do on my own, I started talking to guys online, and it wasn't the healthiest thing for me, but because it was a loophole, I thought it was okay. Which like doesn't make sense. I made the rules, I can make exceptions and whatever. I didn't need to find a loophole, but I just felt like this was something that I wanted to do at the time. And then that just became another thing to worry about, so yeah. The other really difficult thing that I struggled with was finding that balance when I came back into the dating world. It felt a bit like a binge after a purge. Finding intimacy was very accessible, but it isn't always the intimacy you want or need. I'm really grateful in one sense because the first experience I had after my no dating year was a very like slow burning dating scenario with someone who was really nice, and it just didn't work out. But then when that finished, I guess I kind of went back into using intimacy with other people to cope with my feelings that I didn't want to feel, and then that became a bit of a slippery slope that I'm trying to manage again. I wish I could say that the year of no dating fixed everything and now I have all these boundaries and I know exactly what I want and I don't have any temptations, but it didn't quite work like that, and I wish more people, if they felt the same, were honest about that. I don't know if people feel like that or if it's just me, but I feel like it's important to talk about. Saying that, I do feel like I have grown with my ability to say no to people and set boundaries initially, and also to like know when a red flag comes up and listen to my gut. So that is progress in itself. However, I am finding myself scrolling on these apps to find validation from people again, and I'm working on ways to tone that down a bit and like bring the energy back to myself and not forget everything that I learned in my year alone. I would write down all the reasons why I was doing this, even if it was like on my phone or printed next to my bed or anything like that. I would just have it visually available so I could remind myself more often. I would also explore these reasons with a therapist. I have had 2 therapists in that year. I kind of swapped over to a therapist that was more specialized in psychosexual therapy, I think that's what you call it. Yeah, I wanted to like really delve into the reasons why I was doing this, and I swapped over like a month or 2 before I got back into dating, so it would have been really great if I had my current therapist at the very beginning, because I think I would have made a lot more progress. My therapist has helped me like figure out a lot of patterns and habits that I have and where they come from, and if I had that at the beginning, I would have maybe been able to stop some of the things that I did, or like understand where my temptations were coming from and like take a step back a bit. You know, I would have also made a list of things to do when those temptations come up. I feel like I could do that now, but you know, looking back, that would have been really helpful. So, where do I go from here? To be honest, I'm not sure. I don't know. Which is maybe anticlimactic. I'm sorry about that. I wish I could say I know exactly where I'm going, but I am still figuring out, and I think that's a very normal experience as a human being. Sex and relationships are just very complicated, and it's not black and white like I was hoping it would be. I guess my next steps are to figure out my boundaries and what feels good and what I need to do to keep myself safe and comfortable and happy whilst balancing dating at the same time. So that could be limiting app usage or having time off social media on certain days, having like a list of red flags, so if someone shows me a red flag, rather than me being like, oh, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. I'll just be like, next, thanks, see you later. The main thing, I guess, is that I want to continue working on my confidence and my ability to be alone whilst dating. I still want to be my highest priority. I want to see myself as the cake, my friends as the icing, and the dating as the cherry on top. So I guess where I'm going from here is that I'm doing the same as my year off dating, but with dating. And I'm trying to find the balance between the two. I think I want to create another challenge for this year where I just have like a bucket list of things that I want to do on my own to like keep that energy going. Yeah, and maybe I need to update my list of things that I'm looking for in a relationship now that I have gotten back into dating and I'm seeing what people are like and what people will say to get you to do things and then not actually mean it. Like, come on guys. Not everything is terrible. I have had some really nice dates, I've made some nice friends through dating, and I'm feeling optimistic and hopeful about the future. So, yeah. I wanted to say thank you to my patrons for being amazing and supporting me and being the reason why I can sit down and make these videos. If you aren't aware, I have a Patreon page, which is like a membership where you can pay a little each month and you get certain rewards. So $1 tier, you get podcasts and behind the scenes content and downloadable activity book pages. For $4, you get to see a lot of new drawings. You also get extra downloadable prints, and then some higher tiers, you get physical prints every 2 months, and I send you a little hiya in the post. So thank you so much to my patrons. I really, really appreciate you. And if you want to join, please do. I've got some exciting things coming up for Patreon, including a secret video. I do actually have quite a few secret videos on Patreon already, but I'm gonna start doing them again because it's been a while. So yeah, I hope you have a great day and week and month and everything, and I will speak to you soon. Okay, bye.